As I look to the members that have kind of come in and out and are here to participate in this hearing, we're all hunters, we're all fishermen, hikers, those who really enjoy the great outdoors, and whether it's on motorized, as a snow machine, snowmobile, or using your own legs to get you out skiing or just hiking around, it's a recognition that it's all ages, all parts of the country, and how we make this access available is important to us. And several of you have hit on what we are seeing of late with decreased access that comes about because you don't have the ability to go out and hunt and fish because you don't have availability of the lands as much as before. But I want to focus a little bit about the permitting aspect of it, because Dr. O'Keefe, you mentioned the situation in Oregon. It's easier to take your clients down to Costa Rica than get out on a river there. Mr. Kirkwood, you have mentioned the challenges that go with the permitting and just the timeliness. Several of you have said you don't have a problem with small user fees, and what I'm trying to understand here for purposes of today's testimony is we know that we need more people processing the permits, okay? We know we need to deal with this timeline and the uncertainty that is out there. I'm curious to know from a cost perspective how big of an impediment is that to a small local outfitter? Are the permit fees higher than might be reasonable? Because really that is a big barrier. If you can't afford to get onto and use the public lands, that's an issue. Dr. O'Keefe, you look at a river just doesn't stay in Oregon. They might in Alaska, but most of them will cross multiple state jurisdictions, and you need to get multiple permits if you're going to be guiding down a river that crosses certain areas. So if we can have a 3.5-minute conversation, everyone can jump in here, but I need to understand better what the barriers are when it comes to the permitting process. Have at it. Dr. O'Keefe, you look like you're leaning in first.
Yeah, well, I'll jump in here. I mean, I think one of the things is just to make this a priority for land managers and river managers. And you also touched on, rivers do cross jurisdictions, and having better coordination for a river system that, crosses between Bureau of Land Management land, Forest Service land, National Park Service land. Currently, an outfitter has to interface directly with each of those agencies individually, and there are opportunities for better coordination.
So do they currently coordinate? If you're moving
No.
from BLM, so it's literally there's no place to go for a one-stop shop permit if you're this river outfitter and you're going to go through BLM to Forest Service.
That's right, and it's even more complicated than that. There's often not even a person to go to at a lot of these agencies. So a lot of times, you make a phone call to the district ranger, he sends you to someone, then you get sent to someone else. And I've seen correspondence records from some of these outfitters where it's usually literally taken them years and 12 different individuals that they've spoken to within an agency, and often requires a member of Congress to intervene to actually assist the process and move it along.
What about on the cost side? Who wants to speak to that? Are they reasonable? Mr. Kirkwood?
We don't think that the fees are unreasonable.
Okay.
The fees are appropriate, and we're happy to help pay our way. What we see as a challenge is the backlog of planning. And this is where collaboration for large landscape scale planning on recreation could be a big opportunity.
I think that was mentioned previous as well. So other issues with permitting, we've got backlog, timeliness. Would it help if there was a time period within which you should expect a response back on your permit? Nobody seems to
I would say
that's an issue.
absolutely, because I've seen situations where someone contacts the agency and there's literally no response back. So,
Well, that's where we get involved.
Right,
That's
I
where,
know,
that's where they call their senator and say, we need help because we're trying to get this heli-ski permit, and we've already missed this season, and we're going to miss next season. So, you know, that, in fairness, should not be our job to help
I
navigate
agreed.
you through this.
yeah.
That's why I'm curious about what more we can be doing to make sure that we've got a process that is reliable. And one that says check back in 7 years for your ice fishing permit, to me, is not a decent process.